Welcome to Smoke Signals, everyone. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and athletic director Wayne Coleman. Jacksonville on the road last week to play Nacogdoches. Coach, a game where really the best defensive game that Kenny Kennedy's defense has played this year. Offense only scored 14 points on his defense for Nacogdoches, and unfortunately, the two touchdowns from your offense, they gave a scoop and score and a pick six. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah, when your defense holds the other team to two touchdowns, you're supposed to win. And unfortunately, our offense gave them another two touchdowns. So they got 28 points. And they've been pretty good on defense at NAC. And they did a good job in the secondary defending us a little bit.
I mean, clearly, your offense has really been clicking in district. And last week, as you said, that's the best secondary Jacksonville has seen this year. And that's going back to week one. That's everybody.
Yeah, they're very athletic in the back end. And, they've had some great DBs come through there, the boys that have gone to the University of Texas and played in the secondary there. So they've got a good secondary tradition there. And they did a good job the other night.
Coach, total yards offense still produced, outgained Nacogdoches. And again, we talked about turnovers so much on this show, and we talked about it during the game when we talked to you at the half and post game. It's not about a lack of effort. That's not what's happening. I mean, Dino's fumble, which we'll see here in a minute. They put a helmet on the ball. We're not sure. We thought he might have been stopped, but you have to give credit to their defense. I mean, they just played really well, and your offense, after really just playing probably its best game against Pine Tree. Just kind of frustrating that you couldn't put that with your defensive effort.
Yeah, our offense had really clicked for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and Nacogdoches is it turns into a matchup thing a lot of times. Pine Tree secondary didn't match up very well with our receivers. Nacogdoches matched up really well with them, and then they had some big guys up front that could stop the run. So. They won the matchups there, our offense against their defense. And then the fumble by Dino is, very questionable. Forward progress was clearly stopped. But you're playing on the road, and a lot of times you say, hey, when you play on the road, you're already down 7 points. Well, clearly we were already down 7 points just on that one play in the first quarter. So that one was tough to accept.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some of the highlights, Jacksonville versus Nacogdoches. Okay, here's Kennedy coming off the edge. Nice play there. Grabs those ankles, Coach.
Yeah, he made a low tackle, and we got him down. That was good.
Now, here's the fumble we're talking about to Hinaho. So this is another angle right here. I mean, you really thought forward progress is pretty much right.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick's walking off the field to get another play.
Yeah.
And
you can see it right there.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But it's early. We've got to overcome that.
Sure. And here's a long touchdown pass, Clater to Devin. Makes a great move once he makes the catch between guys. Good block downfield.
Yeah, and that was a play that was kind of drawn up in part of the game plan to take advantage of people overplaying our out routes.
And here's our congratulations play of the game. Pressure by Avery and Darian Jones here, and Isaiah gets the pick.
A pass rush is what really helps defenders in the secondary. It makes the ball get thrown up for grabs, and Isaiah took advantage of it.
Jose Solano came on and kicked a 26-yard field goal, very clean.
He did a great job of kicking again the other night.
And here's the touchdown pass. Tony Pinson gets behind the safety here.
Patrick did a good job of scrambling out of the pocket. Tony kept playing and made a big play for us there.
So, Coach, Nat gets the win, but you see the stats right there, and total yards, a lot more. Time of possession, basically about even, but it's those turnovers at the bottom. That was the key. We talk about it, and that's what it is. It's just football.
Yeah, in the playoff teams in 16 and 17 we were turnover machines on the defensive side of the ball.
Exactly.
We took the ball away from people.
You had positive takeaways.
Yeah. And you can go back. You can remember Jay Bush hawking people down from behind, and you knew when he got within 5 yards behind him, he was going to get the ball out.
Yep.
And
I can still see Braylon just reaching in there and just stripping it.
Yeah, the lawnmower rip. And those teams did a better job of protecting the ball, and they did a better job of taking the ball away, and we just have not gotten that done.
This week it's Texas High, coach, at Tomato Bowl, and what can you say? Texas High has their best team, in my opinion, since 2002 when they won the state championship. Not saying this is a state championship team, but they have those kind of players. Quite a challenge. The last 2 weeks of district have been amazing for the Tigers. They shut out Marshall, and then they shut out Pine Tree last week. So they're only giving up, I think, 41 points in 4 games of district play. Pretty impressive.
They're really good. They have given up a few plays in the passing game. Hallsville, who throws the ball, pretty well, had a little bit of success on them. So it goes back to matchups again, and maybe our matchup against Nacogdoches wasn't that great because of how good their secondary was, and maybe we match up better with our passing game this week.
It is amazing because when you look at those schemes, I watched the Texas High Hallsville game, and Hallsville, they moved the ball. Mm-hmm. They did quite well moving the football on. And then you go up against Pine Tree and Marshall, two of the better teams, supposedly not. Marshall's kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. But that score last week in Pine Tree, they shut DJ Freeman down. Actually, he didn't finish the game. He was injured, but they didn't get anything. I mean, it was 44-0.
Yeah, they're really impressive up front. They've got 2 6'5" defensive ends. Their nose shade tackle is, he's a beast, number 90. He's about 6'2", 290, and they're really good on the defensive front. So Pine Tree's strength running the ball was running right into Texas High's strength of stopping the run.
This is the point of the season where the stat guys kick in and say, well, this is what you've done in this area, this is what you've done in this area. Early in the season, you don't have all that. And now you're starting to kind of see these statistics start to roll in week 8 coming up. And Texas High has only 3 offensive turnovers, and their defense has taken 10. That's quite a difference, obviously, in the Jacksonville -10 ratio. Mm-hmm. So you start to look at things like that, and you can see why teams have certain records and why teams don't. And, all this talk about rushing the football, passing the football, those kind of things can get wiped away by turnovers. And we're seeing that with a team like Texas High.
No, there's no doubt. And don't get me wrong, sometimes turnovers are a result of the big bully on the playground taking the ball away from the little guy.
Right, a great defensive play.
Yeah, when you have players on defense as big and strong as Texas High has, they're going to, they can force turnovers. And their quarterback is really savvy and takes care of the football. He knows he has a great defense to rely on. So he's kind of like one of those NFL bus driver quarterbacks that knows, hey, as long as I don't make a mistake tonight, we're going to win. And he's not forced in situations where he has to make plays over and over and over to give his team a chance to win.
Well, they always run the ball well at Texas High because always those big linemen. I know they do that in the efficiency of their quarterback. What do they do offensively, scheme-wise?
Oh, they're gonna mix it up. They're very multiple. They'll go spread with no tight end. One play, and the next play they'll be in 1 tight, 2 tight, or they'll have a wing outside the tight end and run football at you. So they're going to mix it up. They've got enough skilled kids and enough linemen to do both.
How will you attack them offensively? We've seen teams in 9-5A, once Jacksonville got into district, they started taking away the middle stuff. How will Texas High, you anticipate that?
Yeah, like on the big play by Devin the other last week against NAC, that ball was over the middle. And we've got to find those holes in the middle because people are really starting to play our out cuts a lot. And we've got some stuff schemed up, I think, that'll help Patrick.
Clearly a challenge this week. What are the keys? What are the things that your team needs to do and not do to compete with Texas High this week?
Yeah, without dwelling on turnovers, our kids need to do what they do well. Mm-hmm. And we need to be able to offensively spread the ball out and keep getting the ball to different playmakers and not panic and worry about the big pass rush or any of that stuff. We get the ball out pretty quick. Most of the time we're throwing the ball in two seconds, and so we can get the ball out. Throwing around the 6'5" defensive ends, getting balls knocked down is going to be a challenge. We've got to look at some obstacles there that we've got to overcome. But really just play our game and not be more worried about ourselves than who we're playing.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about that yesterday at the end of practice. I heard you talking about visualization and how important it is to see yourself in situations. And when you're playing a team like Texas High, you can't focus on a 6'5" defensive end. You got to focus on visualize what you have to do every play to be successful.
Yeah. You know, in this week's lesson on the character trait was talked about, if people tell you from the time you're a little boy that you're going to be a doctor and you're going to be successful and you're going to do all these great things, you have a much better chance of doing that. And vice versa, if they tell you you're never going to amount to anything, you're going to end up in prison, you have a great chance of doing that. And we have to be able to visualize the successful things we're doing. We know we've turned the ball over. We don't visualize ourselves turning the ball over. We do visualize some of the great plays that we make, and we got to visualize ourselves securing the football, taking care of the ball, and being successful. And that's the only way that you have a chance for success.
It's Jacksonville versus Texas High. Kickoff has been moved back to 7 o'clock, so make sure you remember that. We'll be on the air at 6:15 on JHS-sports.com. Hope to see you at the Tomato Bowl. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.